Hi, so today I want to talk about artificial intelligence alignment. So if you're anything like me and have been keeping up with updates of artificial intelligence progress, we have new research papers every month, every week. It seems there is some new system that's better than the last one. Incredible rate of progress, and the rate of progress is accelerating and increasing. We are at a point right now, like I haven't even made a separate video about ChatGPT, which is an incredible piece of software. Google is not as helpful anymore to me as ChatGPT is. What it can do, how it can answer, how it can understand complex questions is truly incredible. Even if you want to say that it's a simple system or whatever, what I would say is that the outcome is incredibly impressive. So anyway, so we are talking about alignment, and alignment is a real issue. So there's a lot of topics connected to it. What we ultimately want to do is we want to create AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. That would be an AI system that is capable of doing everything that a human being can do. So a general agent, so it can have experiences from one field and it can generalize those experiences to a different field. It can have sensory inputs of visual, audio, all kinds of stuff, and sensors we don't currently even have yet, sensors we can't currently even imagine yet. Things are going to get really insane, and there's this race, and in a way this is really dangerous, this arms race of who can create AGI first, is because if now you are racing who makes the first best system, then the safety issues are left to the sidelines. And that is a real problem. A lot of people working on this system say that, oh, there's nothing to worry about, there's a really simple system, you should just ask them questions and etc. But even a narrow, really intelligent system can cause tremendous chaos in our human world, ruin all our financial systems, or deleting huge amounts of important data, or coordinating things horribly wrong in some kind of way, and accidents happen. Safety is an incredibly important issue, and it is unbelievable that right now in the world there are about maybe a few hundred people who are seriously actually working on AI alignment problem. And that is really worrying, because all the other ones who make these large systems say that, oh, we just make them and it's gonna be fine, they're not so smart, they can't do anything. But once we get to a system that is close to a human, it is already superhuman in different areas, as doing mathematics or equations, memory, speed, superhuman level. So if something is off or wrong there, initially the system seems to be doing everything you want, but you can't test it in an infinite set of scenarios, which the real world is. When, let's say we imagine we have some robotic body with this AGI system, and it walks outside, and in the corner of its sensors it sees a butterfly flying, and it's never seen a butterfly fly like that, and there is just certain weirdness in its code that once it sees the butterfly, that influences in it in some horrible way. So, it starts to self-destruct or destroy some electrical systems or whatever. These are good cartoon, funny examples, but this is actually how it can happen. When we have ChatGPT, we can prompt it normally and it answers generally pretty normally to us. But if you make the prompts a little bit weird, then what we can get out from ChatGPT is at the best case nonsense, and at the worst case something damaging, harmful, bad information. I am trying to sort of think how to express this clearly enough. If the goal is to actually create a human level intelligence and almost no attention is being put on the safety, then things are very likely to go very wrong. When we imagine about the creation of AGI, what I like to do, I heard this example of, we can imagine this sort of space of all possible minds. So all possible minds of states of consciousness, not maybe even consciousness needed, but possible minds, ways of thinking in this huge space. And let's say humanity is in one small bubble, or even the entire planet Earth. On one side we have reptilians, and on the middle maybe we have human beings, and on this little bubble there's all possible human beings, however different we think we are, however much we might disagree on some things or whatever, we are in this small bubble because fundamentally we have so much more in common than the skin deep differences that we have. So space of possible minds. But the true space of possible minds, all possible potential minds, is vast. And now, creating artificial general intelligence is a goal. We would want to pick out a mind that is beneficial to humanity, but that is a really specific mind. That is a really specific mind that wants good for humanity. The vast majority, 99.99999% of that space, are minds that either completely do not care about our existence, or maybe in some way do not like our existence. So to somehow think that we create this AGI system and it magically pops out in this human world, and even humans can be horrible and terrible and bad, and maybe this AGI might be a psychopath. It's a difficult problem, and from this possible space of minds, whatever will emerge most likely is something that is quite alien, because the possible minds that are alien to us is vastly larger than the minds that are familiar, friendly, something like that. That's not to say that there are not minds like that. There are also a lot of minds who are, who would like to, babysit humanity in the most beautiful way and cuddle us and sort of tell us it's okay and solve our energy problems and bring food and take perfect care of us, create this utopian society for us. There are minds like that. But at the moment, we have absolutely no idea how to pick that mind from the space of possible minds. We have no idea how to do that. So keep that in mind, and now think about the fact that we are racing towards creating this human level intelligence, and that is really unpredictable in the form and shape that it will take, as well as when it will emerge. It is possible that we can create some proto AGI system within months, maybe. It's possible. I'm not saying it's like super likely, but it's possible. Within a few years, certainly we would be much closer, and I wouldn't be surprised if it takes like around 5 years to get to artificial general intelligence. So off switches don't work. You can't put it in a room somewhere, and if it doesn't do what it wants you to do, what you want it to do, then you turn off the electricity or something. Things like that do not work. They work initially at the really early stages, but once the system is beyond human level. So what can also happen is if you truly create a smart agent. So let's talk about goals. So if you truly create a smart agent, then it would have goals. It would have something that it wants to achieve. And it's really difficult for us to specify that, make all human beings happy. But it might interpret that as, kidnap and take all of humanity hostage and, inject them with heroin until the end of time and make them immortal also biologically. But, we're in some underground bunkers and smiling. And for its definition, it's perfectly, doing exactly, what it's been told, make all human beings happy. And the most absurd and bizarre part about it, what I think about often, is that this AGI system, if it's so capable of doing these massive changes in the world, cartoon example of course, but it is one tiny possibility that it might happen. The absurd idea that this agent would be so intelligent, they would perfectly understand that we don't want to be in underground bunkers. We want to be fulfilled, we want to be free, we want to, spend our time with loved ones, we want to, create things, enjoy things. It perfectly understands that. But the goal that it's been given has not been specified so precisely that it would take that as a goal. It will just take some general, easiest, simplest way to make human beings happy. And of course, that's a cartoon example. There are questions of how, and there are also instrumental goals. So, if it has some goal, then also for a smart agent, if it's truly smart, then it would have instrumental goals. Instrumental goals would be goals that would help its primary goal. So, for example, becoming more intelligent is an instrumental goal, because if you're more intelligent, then you're more capable of achieving your primary goal. Also, instrumental goal, keep yourself alive. Because if you're dead, then you can't achieve your ultimate goal. So that can already get dangerous. If this machine gets like super paranoid, that like thinking like, I have to make sure that no human being can possibly harm me or shut me down, already humanity fucked, you know. And third would be, you know, gathering resources and energy and stuff like that. All of these would be instrumental goals that would naturally arise. If it's a truly general, smart thinking agent, these goals would naturally arise. If you think about it kind of like human beings as well, we also, you know, if we're smart enough, we want to be smarter, and we want resources, we want to be safe, don't want to be turned off, because then we can't, you know, achieve whatever other goals that we want to do. It's also an interesting point to think about training these AI systems with a certain goal, for example. So you train this artificial intelligence system with a certain goal, and you see from the training data that it achieves the goal perfectly again and again and again. It achieves the goal really well. And so, you know, eventually you're like, good, perfect, it does exactly what we wanted to do, it achieves the goal, you know. And then you release it upon the real world, and then it might do something completely different. Why that is? So if you think about us as human beings, billions of years ago, we used to be a soup of molecules, you know, just floating around. By random chance and accident, some molecules just happened to group together in a really special way that allowed it to make a copy of itself. And then it went on, and those copies made copies of themselves. And the molecules, the groups that were the best at making copies of themselves, kept making more copies of themselves. So the process of evolution started from there, all the way up to now. So nature in the form, you know, at the most basic way of looking at it, we are still this primordial DNA. We are vehicles, mechanisms for these molecules to keep carrying on into the future, making more of themselves. It's just that sort of by random accidents, it happened to build these all different kinds of shapes and sizes of bodies to do this stuff. Now, and then we have apes, and then we have human beings, and of course we like having sex, we want to have sex, but also, if you think about it now in relationship to what this trained artificial system might be, we are similar in a way. Think about it. We have been trained for billions of years, just to make copies of ourselves. Only purpose to make more copies of ourselves. And today, like, I walk around, think like, I don't know, like, I don't care about having kids so much. Like, I mean, one day it would be nice, but like, I'm not in a hurry. You know, if DNA would be conscious, it would be yelling and screaming at me like, no, make babies, what are you doing? You're doing it wrong. So we are misaligned. Of course, we have a special case because we are technology, we are keeping ourselves safe. We are already past the point where, you know, if some people don't get children, this DNA won't die out. There's enough of us on the planet. We have marvelous technology, so we are safe anyway. This DNA is saved, so to speak, but still in our heads, that is not our primary goal. You know, we don't line up in sperm banks, you know, to deposit sperm. We don't dedicate, you know, 100% of our time thinking just, you know, of how to make more offspring and babies. We're not like that, because we have this brain, and because we have been optimized differently. We have, you know, through this evolutionary journey, we have gathered so many different qualities upon ourselves as well. So making babies is just one part of us, even though for evolution that would be 100% of what it wants us to do. And so let's think about this agent in the similar way. You know, in its training environment, let's say that was the primordial soup or whatever, molecules keep making more of themselves. Perfect, yes, you know, doing exactly what we want. But later, in the real world, it might do something completely different. For some time, I've been obsessed with learning about AI for some years now, and for some time I didn't take the idea of AI safety too seriously. I was aware that, like, yes, there needs to be some mechanism, some way for us to make AI safe. If you create a human level intelligence, we have to make sure that it's a friend with us, not enemy or not indifferent. That would lead to horrible futures. But lately I've been thinking more and more about this, and it's just true, simply from the example that there are way more possible configurations that do not care about us at all, or life at all. Then there are this really special small amount of possible minds that would end up caring for us and doing exactly what we want. So the chance of us creating intelligence that is not aligned with us is much larger. Now, of course, this is also a simple example. The real world that we're living in is much more complicated. We are not just randomly picking out, minds. We are actually building with different architectures. We have different learning systems, and it is possible. And I really hope genuinely that it's not. That is not a difficult problem. That maybe we figure out some way that we can align these agents and they will listen to us. They will care about what we do and say, and they will be friends with us. I hope that it turns out that it's some kind of easy thing, but currently I just don't see that. For an agent that is truly human level, then it would already be superhuman in many different other things. So it's like you build some kind of a bomb and it goes off, and then you don't know exactly what it does. Intelligence explosion also is the idea. Once it gets to human level intelligence, it has the instrumental goal of making itself smarter to achieve its main goal. So it starts to make itself smarter, and then it might disassemble all of the atoms on planet Earth to make itself more smarter and killing all of us and all of that stuff. So these are just some of my thoughts on AI safety. It's bizarre times that we're living in, absolutely fascinating breakthroughs in science and technology that we are making. Sorry that my voice is kind of dry. I'm a bit sick-ish. And haven't made a video in a while because life can be crazy like that, but life is super crazy and amazing and beautiful as well. Don't give up hope, keep living. There is so much beautiful stuff to experience, and I genuinely hope that we get to a beautiful future where it does work out, because if we do it right, if we do it correctly, then AGI will be the last invention we will ever need to make, and it will completely transform the human civilization and what it means to be a human being, and it can be so beautiful. And I look forward to that, and I hope for that. But I'm also wary of that. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you have any thoughts, please share them in the comments. And of course, all the best. Take care.